First, it was Bob Menzies who observed that defeat disunites the defeated. And given he was the senior political Conservative, the last time Labor had a majority as big as they do now back in 1943, well, he would know. Part of the recovery process back then was the formation of the new party, the Liberal Party, out of the wreckage of the old United Australia Party. Now, things are not quite so bad now. I don't know, it's getting bad though. But in the absence of strong leadership, the one certainty is that they will get worse. And with that, there's the risk that what's left of the coalition will splinter. Now, he might not have run a good campaign, but one thing Peter Dutton was able to do was keep the team together. Well, not anymore. Two of the Liberals' best talents, Hastie and Jacinta Price, both on the backbench, essentially because the leadership won't take a harder line against record-high immigration and against the net zero straitjacket. And two more of their best talents, Angus Taylor and James Patterson, well, they've recently been talking about the Liberal Party and where it should be headed, rather than articulating specific policy and campaigning on it. Of course, Patterson's right to say that the pity party must stop, that the review process must end, and that the coalition's got to start taking up the fight to this deeply underwhelming Labor government. But that can only really happen if the Libs adopt a few strong positions on topics that voters care about, that they are then prepared to argue for every single day until the next election. Now, they could do that over the voice if they could turn the tide there because they had arguments of conviction, then I still believe anything's possible. But not if they start to fall apart and start the bitching and the moaning against each other. Over the weekend, rumours swept Canberra that former National Party leader and Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce was about to quit the party and join One Nation. Now, in response, Joyce said that the relationship between him and the current leader, David Littleproud, had essentially broken down, that the coalition must dump net zero, said Joyce, because it was devastating the economy and dividing rural Australia, and that he would not recontest his New South Wales lower seat of New England for the Nationals. And in the meantime, and these are all cagey words, in the meantime, he would consider his future.
I won't be sort of involved with the National Party at a political level in Canberra. The next thing is, well, what are you going to do next? Leave that one up to me. I'll make my decision in my time. I'm now, as I say, a free agent.
It's also reported today that Lou O'Brien, the National Party member for Wide Bay in central Queensland, is also said to be considering his position. Meanwhile, fellow Nat Matt Canavan, who exiled himself to the backbench a couple of years ago in protest over the Liberals' Labor-like policies, to his credit said at least he would never defect. Now, there are two essential points I want to make here. The first is that what Australia needs right now is strong Liberal conservative alternative government, not a right-wing protest party. Now, as much as I respect Pauline Hanson and I like her political honesty, she's no Donald Trump, she's no Nigel Farage, and One Nation's never going to form government. And to try and compare One Nation with Farage or even what's happening in the US, it's nonsense given the radically different voting systems. The second thing is that without Barnaby Joyce, the Liberal National Coalition will be weaker, not stronger. It'll be more wishy-washy, not more decisive and determined. And the only beneficiaries from Barnaby's departure, if that's what ultimately ensues, will be those Liberals and Nats who want to minimise their differences with Labor and shift the coalition further to the left.